Sports Talk. I'm Larry Mans. My guest tonight is Ken Semelsberger, the athletic director at Port Huron High. Welcome, Ken.
Hey, how you doing?
Just came off of an exciting basketball game.
Right, we did. Friday night against crosstown rival Port Huron Northern. A very exciting and fun game to be at. Both teams, I thought, played exceptionally hard, and it was a hard-fought game all the way to the end, and we were fortunate enough to come out with the win. And in that kind of game, anything could have happened, and could have went the other way just as easily, but we were fortunate enough to pull that one out.
We got some things going on. One of the things that I think is important to that, though, is the topic of sportsmanship. You know, as we looked at that game, and we looked at what you're trying to do at Port Huron High School, and what Jim's trying to do at Northern, that it always comes up, you know, what is sportsmanship, and how do you do it, and why is it important, and so on and so forth. But, you know, when you get 2,000 people in a gym, you have better done your homework someplace along the line. What are the things that you're doing as far as sportsmanship is concerned at Port Huron High?
Okay, no question about it. Number one is we're talking to our student athletes and our student body about sportsmanship. It's something we believe in very much, and it's being emphasized by the Michigan High School Athletic Association. We're going to do some things when Northern comes to our building. It's going to happen to be the National Sportsmanship Day, and there's some things we're going to do, and I'll talk about that in a little bit. But I think every game we try to prepare our kids the best we can to display proper sportsmanship. That's treating the opponent fairly, being kind to our players, both on and off the court, as far as the crowds, when they cheering for our players rather than saying derogatory things, making sure that the opponents are treated fairly and courteously when they're in your building, and to try to make this whole thing run smoothly, and to show that sports are more than just a competition that goes on the floor. They're in the stands, they're in the school buildings. It's whenever you go any place. So.
Yeah, but you're bringing 2,000 people into a gym or whatever, or at the football stadium where we have 5,000 people. You know, and the control of those people we really don't have much of. So, you know, what is it that we can do to make sure that the spectators, you know, the cheerleaders have to have a role in this stuff?
Sure, it's the whole school. It's the administration, it's the teachers, it's the student body, it's the cheerleaders. One is to keep away from doing things negatively. That's our number one goal. We never want to say anything negative about the other team, about the other staffs, about the other school. We try to be, everything we do is pro Port Huron High School, what we're trying to accomplish. In other words, all our cheers are designed to be pro Port Huron High School, not anti Port Huron Northern or Stevenson or whoever we may be playing. That's one of the things that we've emphasized and got a real good success with. Another thing is to try to prepare your fans by announcements during the game about sportsmanship. You try to tell them some of the things that you're trying to do, that sportsmanship is for everybody. Good sports are winners. And that's something we have a banner in our gym that says, good sports are winners. It's all the things that you do prior to that lead up to the event that you really are working on. So it's not done that day. It's done before the game. It's done at your cheerleading practices. It's done in talking to your team, by your coaches, by myself. I go in and make sure that at the beginning of each season that the teams are aware of sportsmanship are my priority. I have a coaches meeting where I stress sportsmanship, and it permeates through the whole building.
Well, yeah, and I agree with you. Those are the kinds of things we're having to do, but now we're looking at what's happening on national television. We see the pro games. We see some of these things that are happening with the hankies waving, you know, through at the foul shot behind the basket. We see some things happening with signs that are, you know, the people are coming close to. There's got to be some carryover to that, and that makes it very difficult for you to promote a positive program.
Sure, it does. It makes it very difficult at times to do that. But again, it's a matter of when you see things happening, you take issue with it right away, deal with it right then and there, say that you're not going to tolerate inappropriate behavior of that kind, and usually it stops. But 99% of the time, fans are cooperative and they'll do what we ask them to do. And in the rare occasion we don't, then we ask them to leave or whatever we have to do. But most of the time, we have no problem with that. And the fans, I have to say this, in the 14 years I've been at Port Huron High School and in Port Huron area, I can name the number of instances where there's been any problems on one hand. There's been very few instances of any problems, and I'll take that with any place that we go to or anybody we play. The sportsmanship between even the bitter rivalry we have with Port Huron Northern and Marysville and some of the local rivalries, there have been well-behaved. The fans on both sides have been, and we've been very fortunate to have that happen here.
Oh, I agree with that. But I guess the thing that we want to make sure is that, you know, that carryover and that understanding, because, you know, we've heard the high school program and that the court or the field is an extension of the classroom. Right. We believe that.
Right.
We believe in the academics first and, you know, the sports as a secondary kind of thing. And, you know, some of the values that sportsmanship, you know, respect for others, respect for yourself, and these kinds of things that always come up. But then, you know, you hear the people in the community or look at the pro stuff and, show me a good loser and I'll show you a loser kind of thing. But, in order to overcome that, you've used the cheerleaders. Do you meet with the cheerleading sponsor to sort of go over the kinds of things that you feel are important?
Sure, we're very fortunate. Sharon McCombs at our building does a great job with that. And we've talked earlier, and Tom Miller, one of the other principals, works closely with them. We work on this all the time to be positive in everything we do. We meet with them. We tell the girls when they design their cheers to be pro 4 year in high school and never negative. Like I said earlier, we want to continue that. We talk about signs being appropriate that we put up in our facilities to be positive 4 year in high school, to cheer on our players and our team, not to be negative or to be ready or say anything badly about the other teams. So those kind of things. Plus, during our pep rallies, we want positive things being done. We want to instill the ideas we talked about: academics, sportsmanship, having positive self-worth of the athlete, positive self-worth of the school. Those are all things we're doing, not only through the school, but through all our committees that we're working on in school, with our school improvement committees. Self-esteem is a big thing right now in schools. We're working on this. Sportsmanship is another way of increasing your self-esteem.
That thing come true.
Right.
So you must do the same thing then with the coaches at each sport.
Sure. Right.
Where you have a lot of fans, for example, in basketball and football, that sportsmanship kind of thing. But sportsmanship really is an attitude that player has to have.
Sure.
He has to bring that to the court, which means at some point he's got to be reinforced by the coach.
Right.
What do you do with the coaches, or how do you talk with the coaches about this?
We meet before each season. I have a fall meeting, a winter meeting, and a spring meeting with all our coaches for that season. And we'll go over the guidelines set up by the Michigan High School Athletic Association concerning sportsmanship. Some individual sports, for example, are very, very important that sportsmanship is aware of. For example, in tennis, where you're making your own calls.
Golf would be another.
Golf's another one, another example. Okay, so sportsmanship is paramount in those sports. We have to really emphasize that with our kids. And anytime that there's a problem, the coach has to deal with it right away. And they've been very good about doing that. I know our golf coach, Mr. Sen, and our tennis coaches, Mr. Haas and Mr. Bear, have taken care of that right away. And we really have not had any complaints or problems with that. Again, those sports, sometimes sportsmanship, because it is limited to the visibility of people, but yet for that individual person, that's what sportsmanship is all about, that sport, because he has to take that initiative on his own.
Well, it's really interesting because, I've seen a lot of games throughout the years, and you sort of see a trend in this, and you see some things that have happened as a result of whatever influence there may be there in the community and public sector, the television kind of things, and as you watch some of these youngsters come through, there's sort of been an emphasis that you're going to be a star and so on, and I know you got to bring that back so that they feel a part of the team, and the parents, because their kid may not be playing in some cases, they get a little bit angry. But there's another case here, Ken, and that's the role of the official in sportsmanship. And I think, we have officials who are registered, and yet we see a lot of times the call that may not agree with the 30 other officials we have in the stand. And then you get some of this kind of stuff going on in the stands. As an athletic director, what do you do about that at that point in time, or what can you do if it got out of hand?
Hopefully, if it got out of hand, we would immediately have the player removed from the game ourselves and take issue with it right then and there. The Michigan High School Athletic Association has instituted a policy now. If you are ejected from a game for any reason, you are not only ejected for the remainder of that game, but also from your next day of competition. So if you get ejected, for example, the first game of a doubleheader in baseball, you're out for the second game and you're out for the next day of competition in football or basketball. So the officials are very reluctant to do that because they know the penalty is very stiff, that a person who is subjected to that will get another game suspension. Some of our coaches also have another secondary rule. If they are suspended for a game by the State Athletic Association, they are suspending them from a game on their own. So we have an extra policy that a lot of our coaches are putting in effect. If they get ejected from a game, not only will they serve the Michigan High School Athletic Association policy, but also another game because of our policy. So it's deferred a lot of things. We have not had any problems with that, and the kids have handled it very well. As far as the kids not complaining about playing time, one of the things we've done is we've asked all the coaches to talk to their teams about the fact that this is a team. The letter I is not involved in team, that we are a team concept. We are trying to achieve a goal. The goal is to win the game, but also at the cost, not at the cost of giving up sportsmanship. And the kids have to know that this is their role, that their players each have a role on the team. They're trying to fit in as a team and achieve a goal as a team. If they're an individual, then they're going to pull away from the team, that we have to deal with that.
Well, and those are the good things that are happening, and I know that they're reinforced. But here we have coming in the next month, National Sportsmanship Day, which is going to be March 3rd. You're doing a lot of things on a daily basis and really on an annual basis to keep sportsmanship going. But in order to emphasize this and celebrate it, you have some special things planned for that day, and what might they be?
We're going to do a couple of things. We're going to meet next Monday. We're going to meet with our administration in our building and finalize some of these things. One of them we're going to do is have a poster contest in our building, and we're going to display those posters in the gymnasium the night of the sportsmanship game, which happens to be March 3rd, and our opponent for that night is Port Huron Northern. So it gives us a great opportunity to put our money where our mouth is, so to speak. I've talked to Mr. Burnell at Port Huron Northern. What we're planning before the game is for both teams, both cheerleading squads and varsity club members from each school, representatives from the varsity clubs from each school, getting together on the floor before the game, intertwining with each other and singing the national anthem together as a group. So it's a show of sportsmanship and camaraderie. Even though we are the rivals, and the city rivals are sometimes the most hard fought because we're playing for the bragging rights for a whole year sometimes, but also the fact that we are supportive of each other. I want Port Huron Northern to win every game that they play all year long, except for when they play Port Huron High School. Hopefully they feel the same about Port Huron High School, because our community is a great community, and we want to see what's best for both schools. And what we want to do at this point is it's just to show that we're together, and we're going to try to do as much as we can to promote sportsmanship. Also, I'm going to be putting things out in the paper, promoting sportsmanship. We're going to have, like I said, the poster contest. We're going to try to do a couple other things in the community to get posters, to get it going. Ace Hardware sponsors a award each year for the district championship playoffs and regionals sportsmanship.
That's part of the Michigan High School.
Right. And our goal is to win that. Not only is it to win the district on the court, it's to win the sportsmanship award too. We won it in volleyball last year. Port Huron Northern has won it a couple of times, and that's a goal which both schools are striving for, and hopefully we can.
Well, I know you're aware of it, but even the Intermediate Athletic Association that we have, where our intermediate schools participate with SCAL schools and so on, for the past year we've been experimenting with a sportsmanship award for each of the teams as they participate, and one of the forms that they use basically is a rating form, which the officials of that game sort of judge, the players' decorum on the court, the spectators, the coaches, and so on. And that program is working very well. And I know that it's not an extensive rating form, but what it does highlight is the fact that sportsmanship, is very important. The MAC League does something similar to that.
I was going to talk about that for just a second. The Macomb Area Conference now has adopted a sportsmanship trophy, which will be awarded yearly in each division, the red, white, and blue division, for the school which displays the sportsmanship in that division. You're voted on by your principal, voted on by your activities director, and by your athletic director, who represents the coaching staff. And they will rate the fans, the players, and the administration support of the programs. So we're looking forward to that. This is the first year for it. We used to have it in the Eastern Michigan League. It was one of the things that we talked about when we came into the MAC conference. And they've adopted it. We've set up our guidelines, and this year will be the first one, and it will be presented next year at our awards banquet at the beginning of the year.
Well, sportsmanship is important, and what you're doing is great, and we're looking forward to that 3rd of March, which is Sportsmanship Day, and want you to keep up the good work, Ken.
Thank you. We're going to try.